This is WPSL Port St. Lucie, the talk of the Treasure Coast.
The views expressed on the following program are not necessarily those of WPSL or Port St. Lucie broadcasters. Any reproduction or reuse of this program without the written consent of WPSL is strictly prohibited. Because it's time now for Joanne's World of Nutrition, brought to you by Nutrition World in downtown Fort Pierce and hosted by Joanne Seeger.
Good morning, everybody. Happy Thursday. I hope everyone's having an amazing morning. Well, you know, it's so funny because I was like feeling really good with time, you know, I always calculate it from the moment I get off the highway because I know exactly how long. But then, you know, I had this I had a truck in front of me on the road, and then that slowed me down. Then I missed one light, and then I hit that light, you know, right here around the corner, and that always is like an extra few minutes. I'm like, but I still got plenty of time. And then I turn on this road, and then there's the detour signs, and I'm like, this is just teaching me to be patient and just know that there are things out of our control.
They're just digging up a few roads nearby us here, and it takes a little longer to go around the long way to get here.
Actually, that was the easiest detour I've ever done.
Oh, yeah.
Too bad all the life's detours aren't that simple to follow,
If
right?
all of life's detours had those doggone signs,
oh my
that
gosh,
would help.
Right? Wouldn't that be awesome? Like a little little map for us.
Life's detours and where to go.
Oh, well, again, hi, everyone. Thank you so much for spending some time with me this morning. Today's topic is going to be men's health. But if you're one of my female listeners, please stay tuned and listen in because I feel that, you know, yes, men and women obviously are different, but a lot of the things I'm going to discuss today can definitely help a female as well. But we must start with our breathing exercise.
That's right. 9 out of 10 doctors recommend breathing on a regular basis.
And, you know, I was just did a little mini vacation, and I wanted to say a shout out and a thank you for the guys at Regal Paints in St. Lucie West. We had some painting projects. They totally hooked us up. Gosh, I just love that paint store. They're just so helpful. And, you know, my mother-in-law had on her phone that she did in the mornings a breathing app. And it was awesome. It was like this mini meditation, de-stressor breathing app. And I was like, this is so great. You know, technology might be stressing us in certain aspects, but then in other aspects, it really, it could be helpful. So if you use any tool the right way, it can definitely be of benefit. So for any newbies, this breathing exercise is available to all. If you're driving, keep your eyes open. If not, really relax into it. Close your eyes, tap your fingertips, and Cliff is going to count for 5 to breathe in through your nose, hold for 5, and exhale only through your nose for 5. And Cliff, how about 3 times? Get us all centered, focused, calm, get our blood pressure regulated.
Yeah, let me add that you can do this on your own for as long as you wish at some other time when you're not listening to the program.
Yeah, 24/7 availability.
Oh, yeah, that's right. And it's available anytime you feel you need it. And you'll know when you feel that you need it.
Yes, exactly. So let's exhale out the drama, the negativity, and all that junk of the day.
Let it all go. There it goes.
Okay.
Now let's begin our inhalation through the nostrils. Now, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hold. 2, 3, 4, 5. Release. 2, 3, 4, 5. Again. 2, 3, 4, 5. Hold. 2, 3, 4, 5. Release. 2, 3, 4, 5. And one more time, all the way in. 2, 3, 4, 5. Hold. 2, 3, 4, 5. And release. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You may now resume your normal breathing practices.
Thank you, Cliff. I think you should make your own app. You know, your voice is so calming.
Oh.
It's awesome.
Well, I have to be careful because with borderline hypnosis, and I don't want to get anybody in trouble. I don't want to get in trouble.
There you go.
Okay.
Oh, so men's health. Last week we discussed female, women's health, and now this week it's men's health. And I had to be honest, when I woke up this morning, I was a little bit like, wow, I, a lot of men do not shop at stores or even especially health food stores. The most 72 to 73% of the shoppers out there are female, especially for health and supplements. I think if you think of, bodybuilding and that age group, of course, is predominantly male. But it's really sad. I don't have as many male customers as I would like. A lot of times it's, oh, yeah, I'm bringing this home for my boyfriend or my husband or, my brother or my son. And I'm really hoping he takes it. Or, oh, I bring home things for him and he won't take it. He just, he doesn't, think it's going to work, or he doesn't feel good and he's kind of given up on himself. And it makes me really sad because I think, men have such a responsibility on their lives, and it might sound a little old-fashioned, but I still see it with my friends, is that most of them, especially the ones that are stay-at-home moms, their husbands are out there, they're working, they're dealing with the traffic and, fast food schedule, and, it's really stressful, and I really wish they knew that there are so many supplements and so many little lifestyle tricks they can do, so they're not just going to walk that road to high blood pressure, high cholesterol, belly fat, and difficulties with aging and with impotence and, losing their libido. These things, it doesn't have to be that way. But they do have to make a decision that they have to, you have to make a decision that you have to really check in with yourself and evaluate yourself and take responsibility for your health. It's really hard to put that responsibility on someone else, a significant other. It's really important that you do your shopping and learn. And sometimes I'll say to my female shoppers when they mention that they're buying it for their significant other, can you please have them come in and talk to me? And it's not because I'm avoiding the conversation, but for the most part, when you try to impart that knowledge to your other, they take it differently when it's from someone that, sometimes we feel defensive when the people we love tell them, well, you're not really doing so good in the bedroom these days, or you don't have the energy you used to, or you're not like laughing like you used to, you're tired, you're depressed, you're anxious. When we hear this from our loved ones, it takes a different it's a different response than
That'll
if
give
a
guys
professional.
attention, though. He'll start listening to you about the supplements, though, if you tell him.
Yeah.
Don't be afraid to tell him. And
Well, Cliff, you'd be surprised, like that conversation. There's even talking about bowel movements and conversations about the bedroom are very difficult for the people to have. And what's really sad is those two subjects are critical to show where your health's at. When you're tired and you're fatigued and you're depressed or you're out of sorts, or on the other totally weird subject comparison is bowel movements. It all is relatable because your health shows in these ways. If you're not getting sleep, or if you're not waking up full of energy or for a passion for life, there are reasons, and these reasons can be looked into and addressed, and there are solutions. So you definitely don't want to feel like hopeless, like, oh, I'm just getting old. This is, where I'm destined to turn out to. So I'm hoping that this show does bring some light onto some very simple subjects and give very simple answers and solutions to what's making you feel not your best. So I want to start in general with something I've definitely learned over the last few days. So vitamin D is a topic for everyone's health, children, men and women. And vitamin D, doctors are testing for and telling us we're low now and to get some. But just if you get enough sleep and a little bit of sun, you get your vitamin D levels up right away and you feel better. Just this little mini vacation with a little extra sun and a little extra sleep, I felt so much better. So that's the first little solution. A lot of us, especially in Florida, we're lathering on these sunblocks that are all chemicalized. We're avoiding the sun. We're, watching our shows until late at night. We're not getting enough sleep, and we're on our phones. And I know how easy it is to get set in those traps. You've got to be really careful. So my first solution, I feel, is the easiest and the most affordable, is a little more sleep. Okay, so turn your TVs off, put your phones down, unplug, and get to bed earlier and get a little more sun. An early morning sun, like a brisk walk without sunblock on, or late day sun, definitely would be my first solution to feeling better. The other thing that men complain about the most time for me is energy levels, that they just don't have the energy they used to. Even younger and younger men. I have guys that come into the store, they have to be, early 20s. They're already complaining that they're fatigued. They actually feel like a muscular weakness. It's getting more and more common. So when I researched it, it was amazing. It was my favorite nutrient that was responsible for all the ailments that not only were these older gentlemen experiencing, but also the younger ones. And that nutrient is magnesium. So magnesium is responsible for over 300 known functions in the human body, and that's the well-studied ones. I'm sure there are many more, but magnesium is critical for our health. It has, in 2001, they linked the deficiency of it to almost every known condition, everything from acid reflux, cancer, really every condition, even inflammatory processes, which I'm trying to teach the audience that all conditions start with inflammation. So it's no surprise that the deficiency of magnesium leads to inflammatory processes that lead to all these conditions: depression, anxiety, post-traumatic stress disorder, demineralization of bones. So all these conditions are connected to magnesium. And why is magnesium so deficient in us? Our soil has been deficient of magnesium from the 1940s. Our standard American diet pretty much has no magnesium in it. It's very rare that we consume the healthy foods that have magnesium. There are organic foods that have magnesium in them. It's just very rare to find them in the typical diet. You can just Google foods rich in magnesium. Some of my favorites are almond, figs, Brazil nuts. I mean, you can dates. Oh my gosh, dates are sweet and delicious. There are foods that have magnesium, but there are some of the real healthy foods like sea vegetables that we do not consume on an everyday basis. And you do have to consume enough, because most of the things we do consume on an everyday basis wipe away the magnesium of our body. Like, for instance, too much alcohol, too much coffee, too much soda products, stress, sweating. These are things that take the magnesium out of our body.
Don't we need magnesium a little bit to help us digest calcium?
Everything. You can't, Cliff, that's a perfect example. So in our country, we consume more calcium and calcium supplements than any other parts of the world.
The wrong kind,
and
too.
we have the highest osteoporosis. I mean, I hate to, but hip replacements, all these things are linked to our country's unhealthy view on minerals. We isolate them, we make them unabsorbable, and Tums is a perfect example. Like, all these doctors started prescribing or licking sidewalk. It's non-absorbable calcium, and that's a perfect point. We are still telling people to take calcium where that's not what bones are made from. They're made from a whole handful of nutrients. Calcium is just one. Without magnesium, there is no catalyst to absorb it into the cell. It floats around in our bloodstream and does bad things. It causes stones and calcification, hardening artery walls. So it's not only critical that you get the cofactors that make up bone, you have to get the right absorbable kinds. So, and magnesium is another example. It's not innocent to having bad forms out there in the marketplace, like magnesium oxide, not absorbable, and that's in many, many supplements. It's hard to find supplements without it, but there's three favorites. So if, like I mentioned foods earlier, so if you can get your magnesium foods, that's awesome. But like I said, stress, Coca-Cola, caffeine, alcohol, antibiotics. Antibiotics wipe out your magnesium as well as anything else good in your body. So you need to possibly supplement because, again, it's hard to eat enough of the healthy foods to get all the magnesium. And if you do choose to get supplements, they're very inexpensive, easy to use. My favorite I've been using for so many years, my whole family uses it, Matt is utterly hooked on it, is ionized magnesium citrate. It goes under the brand name CALM, C-A-L-M, really famous. You can find it everywhere. It comes all different flavors. Plain tastes like chalk, but then they have delicious raspberry lemon, orange, plain lemon, cherry is the newest flavor, all natural flavorings, no synthetic flavorings or sweeteners. And you just put that in a little hot water at night. It activates the ionization. And then you can drink it strong flavored, or you can add more water and make it into just a tea. But that is a phenomenal way to end your day. So some of the things that magnesium does, and I don't know who wouldn't want this, better sleep, better bowel movements the next day, because magnesium naturally brings moisture into the bowel, so it's not like a laxative, even though back in hospitals they would use it to quickly clean out the colon if someone needed some procedure done. But magnesium ionized citrate just naturally brings moisture into the bowel. It stops leg cramping, muscle spasms, and what's the most important muscle in the human body that magnesium helps is our hearts. So you'll find that magnesium is still used, I think for, I guess, like 90 to 100 years in hospitals to stop arrhythmias, blood pressure issues. Really critical. Magnesium is found in hospitals for many uses. Unfortunately, they don't always use the best types because it's in emergency situations. But at home, I would definitely choose the ionized citrate. So that's my favorite. But there are two other cutting-edge types that definitely need to be mentioned. It's magnesium threonate. It's, I think, spelled Theronate. So this magnesium is in a pill form, highly absorbable. It does not have to be digested to break down. It goes right into the cell. And that's the other tricky part. Magnesium shouldn't be in your blood serum levels to be tested. It should be inside the cell. That's what matters. That's what makes it really work. So the magnesium threonate gets right into the cell and does all its critical functions. You know, again, regulating blood pressure, helping all the muscles of the body, relaxing cramping, helping you sleep better, every function. And then the other great form is magnesium glycinate. Chris Allison, who is our blood testing doctor who comes to our store once a month, he is amazing, has a really phenomenal following, and he always recommends magnesium glycinate to almost every patient he sees. I really think it's overlooked because people think it's way too simple. People are looking for these new cutting edge that they've never heard of supplements, you know, running on their social media like this one thing cure all. But magnesium could be that thing. Like I said, the deficiency of it pretty much causes every malfunction in the human body. but the enough of it can be the solution for all those. And it is deficient in our diets. So again, ionized citrate magnesium, known as COM, and then there is magnesium glycinate or magnesium threonate. So if you have magnesium right now, please check your label. If it doesn't match that description, then you might want to reconsider taking it. A mineral that's not being absorbed, not really a good idea. You want to make sure that your nutrients are getting to where they need to go and not being a stressor on the body or putting another chemical or poison into the body. And like I hope all my listeners remember, never go by the front of labels for supplements, for food, anything. Always turn around the packaging and check the ingredients. Check really what everything is made from. So they can really put anything on the front of any label. So magnesium, I'm trying to think if I covered everything. Oh, and my favorite source of magnesium, how I didn't mention that, is dark chocolate. So, I mean, what a great excuse to have a little dark chocolate. So get some organic dark chocolate almonds, have a little handful of those. You get some magnesium, your little chocolate fix in there, and that sounds yummy, right?
The darker the chocolate, the lower the sugar content, right?
Yes. I mean, we all know that sugar is evil and extremely poisonous and dangerous and highly, highly addictive. So yes, so the darker, the more bitter the chocolate, the healthier it is for you. And again, you can gradually get to that health point. But it's really important to understand that one tiny change in your life can be that first step. Never overlook the importance of making a change. I think too much in our society, we think all or nothing. I have to be perfect or why do anything at all? You do not have to live, stringently and be healthy. You can definitely make small changes. And I always try to say, think of adding things in versus avoiding. I could sit here and preach on my show every week. Don't eat sugar. Don't do alcohol. Don't drink coffee. Don't do this. I could every week because we all know, no. But what I try to encourage is there's a lot of great things we can add into our day, like the breathing exercise, like taking magnesium, like getting a little extra sleep and a little more sun, that are economic, easy, and anyone can do it. And yes, maybe after 3 days or even 3 weeks, it wouldn't be a huge difference in your life, but it does add up and it does make a difference. And if you kind of once a month evaluate yourself head to toe, just say, hey, do I get a rash behind my ears? Am I getting skin irritations? How's my oral health? How's my teeth looking? How's my gums looking? What's the color of the inside of my eyelids? Look at your tongue. A lot of us each day never check in with ourselves, never really ask ourselves how we're doing. What's the clarity of the white of our eyes? How's our belly feeling? How's our bowel movements? What do our nails look like? All of these things have been used for thousands of years to let you know how you feel. And honestly, now we have Google. So if your eyes look different, or your tongue looks different, or your nails look different, you can Google what you're seeing to see what the meaning is. But again, just like WebMD, don't go crazy and think that you're dying, in 30 seconds because your nail has a yellow ridge in it. Don't freak out.
Well, a lot of those places aren't good for hypochondriacs to go looking around because they'll find something else to have.
Yes, use cautiously, and that's why I'm going to mention, Dr. Chris Allison again. He only charges my customers $50, and he does the blood, and he's thoroughly does the whole. He brings science with Eastern and Western medicine and kind of brings it all together. And he's always booked usually at least a month in advance, sometimes two, but call the store if you're interested in that. if you don't want to go to that dark hole of the web and try to figure out your health that way. All right, so we talked about magnesium. So far, we're adding a little more sleep, turning off our technology, unplugging, getting a little more sun to lower cortisol levels and stress levels, adding magnesium for sure. And 500 milligrams should be a minimum to be added in, and then some healthy foods. If you feel like you're not going to make any dietary changes and add magnesium-rich foods, then I would take up to 1,000 milligrams of the magnesium a day. I think we're going to talk about one more thing to add in on the food note, and then we'll go to a break. So the next food that is critical for men is pumpkin seeds. So unless you have diverticuli or, your intestinal issue has a real bad problem with seeds, I would definitely have you consume a handful of pumpkin seeds a day. They are, super inexpensive, absolutely delicious. We sell them at the store like a healthy, spicy version or a plain version. You can buy them at every supermarket. You can throw them into cereal. You can throw them into salad. You can blend them up and put them into a smoothie or a protein shake. But why are these seeds so critical for men's health? They have a huge amount of zinc, magnesium, healthy fats, all the things proven to help a male with his testosterone levels, with his immunity, with his keeping his prostate healthy, really critical for men's health. So there is a lot of things that are going against us in the testosterone world, so stay tuned. The next half of the show, we're going to talk about the big T, testosterone. All right, stay tuned.
You're listening to Joanne's World of Nutrition with archives on YouTube. The program is heard every Thursday morning in the 10 o'clock hour live on WPSL AM 1590 with the archives stashed up there on YouTube under WPSL TV. We'll be right back with more of Joanne's World of Nutrition.
Hey, it's Dr. Ravi at Tradition Family Chiropractic. We are dedicated to serving you and your family with integrity, compassion, and innovative care through the most advanced chiropractic care ever in chiropractic history, encouraging your health and your family's health to its maximum potential on a regular basis. Call us today at 772-345-0060 or schedule online at traditionhealth.com for your free consultation.
Guiding the Treasure Coast in health, one person at a time. That's their motto at Joanne's Nutrition World, Suite 121, in the historic arcade building on US 1, downtown Fort Pierce. Joanne brings more than 25 years of experience in the natural health industry, right here to you. Take advantage of this free personal guide to wellness and good health. Meet with Joanne herself and get started. Nutrition World always provides you with the hottest new product lines, natural and homeopathic remedies, herbals, and best of all, expert advice from the people who care. Call Joanne at 464-3598, 464-3598, and learn the correlation between diet and great health. Stop in today. The expert guidance to health is always free at Nutrition World. Nutrition World, Suite 121 in the Arcade Building, US 1, downtown Fort Pierce.
This is WPSL Port St. Lucie, the talk of the Treasure Coast.
Welcome back to Joanne's World of Nutrition, brought to you by Nutrition World US 1 and Orange Avenue, between Orange Avenue and Avenue A, directly across from Fort Pierce City Hall. Once again, here's your host, Joanne Seeger.
Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for spending some time with me this morning. Today's topic is men's health. And, there are so many things when we talk about our health and what that means to each and every person. For some people, it's just getting up in the morning and being able to feel strong and walk around with no pains. And for others, it means, to have control of their thought patterns and their minds are going a little crazy and stressed out and, just feel anxious and their blood pressure is sky high and they feel the weight of the world, and it's just everyone has a different. The meaning for health is different for everybody. So today I kind of try to pick a couple of the most popular things that get asked at the store level. And I would say this next one is definitely the most commonly asked questions by males, even though sometimes they're embarrassed to ask about this, but it's about their testosterone levels. So as the years have gone by for me, I have noticed, unfortunately, that this question is being asked by younger and younger men. It kind of saddens me because the question of impotence or erectile dysfunction or just stamina in general, that would be pretty much about 60, 65-year-olds asking me. Now it's about 30, 35. That's crazy. That's a huge difference over a very short period of time. Most males are not sharing their stress with their partners. They are, turning to meds or other alternative solutions that are only bringing them more problems and more side effects and no solutions. So some of the things that we're going to talk about for the next 20 minutes are really practical solutions. And when you hear them, you might think, that just sounds too simple. This can't do it. You need that fancy pill, that expensive pill, or should I call it the blue pill? But it's really not true. These things do come about from the body just not having the tools it needs to work properly. And so if you just give it some of these simple steps, things can start balancing out. But you have to be really patient. But again, these things are usually free or affordable, and they have no side effects. So we were talking earlier about, putting away technology, going to bed a little earlier, getting some sun, getting your vitamin D levels up, lowering cortisol levels, taking magnesium. And even though those are great for general health, for blood pressure, for the heart function, immune function, those are also critical for healthy testosterone levels. Why is that? Because every good habit we do goes to healthy hormonal balance. Anything we do, the bad lifestyle choices we make, no coincidence, goes to unhealthy hormone balances. So it's not like you're rolling dice and whatever you end up with genetically, that's it. No, it's each day's choice will lead to if your hormones are going to be balanced or if you're going to age faster. So here's some of the tricks, okay? And again, no giggling, men, because these things do work and they are proven to help. So the first one is that breathing exercise we do every Thursday morning on the show. Deep, meditative-like breathing helps your hormone levels. Why does it help your hormone levels? Because it helps your insulin levels. So men that have more belly weight or have higher spikes of blood sugar have very difficult time keeping their testosterone high and their estrogen low. It usually goes in reverse. So as men, you do not want your estrogen high and your testosterone low. You want it the opposite. Just like when you were 18 and your testosterone was at the highest. You notice that, you could eat anything and you never put weight around your belly. Well, that's the whole idea, is that you want to keep that estrogen low. And estrogen is everywhere. Us females are up against this as well. But it's in our drinking water. It's in all our animal foods in high abundance. Why? Because it makes the animals fat and plump, just like it makes us. So you definitely want to first consider doing the breathing exercise, okay, as often as you can. Deep, deep, deep breathing. and make a point of it. I know that all these smart devices have little apps that remind us to do deep breathing exercise, and also quiet time that keeps your insulin levels in check and your stress levels in check. The more elevated our stress levels, the more insulin and blood sugar can spike as well. So if you can make a point at your workplace or at home for once an hour to do the 5 count breathing exercise 5 times, it really will make a significant difference in your testosterone level. I know it sounds crazy, but it really does, okay? So the breathing exercise, and like I just mentioned, animal foods. If you choose to eat animal foods, you have to really know what you're consuming. You have to critically choose your animal foods. If not, they are full of so much estrogen, they could lead to erectile dysfunction, very low testosterone, and high estrogen dominance. It is very common, especially dairy foods, to have high estrogenic levels. But unfortunately, if you're avoiding animal foods and turning to vegetarian foods, there is a ton of soy concentrate, which does the same thing. Okay? So I know it sounds like, oh, then what's the solution? It's just choosing, in the vegetarian world, more vegetables and healthy fat. And if you choose to still eat animal products, really source out grass-fed, because the cattle, all these animals are meant to eat foods that have natural high levels of healthy fats, getting fresh air, exercise, sunlight for the vitamin D. All the greens naturally have magnesium in them. Like I mentioned earlier, how critical magnesium is for the body. So if they're factory raised, they're not getting any of that. Their meat is not what you would maybe look at the nutrition profile from 50 years ago. It no longer matches that. So if you say to yourself, well, my father, he ate meat every day and he lived to 105, what our previous generations ate with the animal products is not what we are consuming now. Our dairy is full of hormones and antibiotics, and I mentioned earlier, what does antibiotics do? They kill everything healthy in the gut, especially deplete our magnesium supply, which is critical for men's health, especially the heart and the blood pressure and the hormone levels. So if you're going to choose to eat animal foods, just buy more carefully. And when you start supporting the local farmers market for the guys that are having chickens in their backyards, or they have, cattle right here in Okeechobee, and you're supporting these farms, then they can do bigger and better and make more of a supply for us. So definitely, if you choose to eat meat, choose it the way it's supposed to be raised. Okay, so then, and then meat, especially like egg yolks and real grass-fed butter, that amount of the small, non-concentrated amount of protein, just a couple servings a day is all you need. Even though protein definitely has a really critical impact on our health, over-consuming, not a great idea. You don't need a lot. All the ketogenic diets, they stand for healthy fat diets, not high protein diets. So please don't be misled by that. Doesn't mean that you're gonna, take dried meat, what is that called, jerky, and eat that all day long. No, maybe a hard-boiled egg, some grass-fed, little 4-ounce steak, a little piece of fish, and really be conscious and mindful of where everything comes from. Okay. So we talked about, let's see. Okay, so I got off track with the food. Okay, so yes, so the food, so the animal products, really, really, really critical to stay away from the estrogen dominant food. And again, plastics, our plastic water bottles, believe it or not, tons of estrogen. Microwaving food, estrogen. So if you're a guy and you're relying on microwavable meals, learn to cook. Okay, please learn to cook. I hope no one these days is living on microwavable foods. But if you are, when you cook the meals in those microwave trays, it leads to estrogen dominance once again. So you can buy a lean cuisine. And one of my listeners, I caught him doing this. I won't mention his name on the air, but I walked into his workplace and that's what he was eating. And this is, a good sized man that probably could have a nice 600 calorie meal. And he's eating a little lean cuisine, 220 calorie processed food in a plastic estrogen tray. You're not going to lose belly fat. You're going to get more stressed out. You're going to do late night eating and probably get depressed over it. So, ditch those plastic microwavable meals, please. There's nothing healthy about them. Okay. So in our society, in the air, our chemicals, our water supply, our food supply is very heavy estrogen dominant. So we want to really avoid those things and do more testosterone dominant things. What are those things? Intermittent fasting. That is when you have less meals and you have more time when you're not consuming any food. So a great schedule would be like just eat food 10 to 5. Some people do a little less time of eating when they get really strict. That's up to you. But definitely you do not have to consume food as soon as you wake up, and you definitely do not want to consume food 3 hours before bedtime. It's really critical. At night when we go to sleep, that's when all the magic happens. No pun intended, okay? But it really is. If you go to bed with all this heavy food in your belly, who would ever be in the mood? You feel heavy. Your digestive system is taking 80% of your energy level. So just for, a healthy relationship, do not eat before bed, okay? Do not eat in bed, okay? And also, all the magic, meaning digestion, absorption, renewal of your hormonal levels, they all happen while you sleep in a nice, deep, healthy sleep. So you do not want to make all the energy be going to your belly instead. You want it to go everywhere else. So intermittent fasting definitely helps raise the testosterone levels to a healthy amount. And I want to clarify, like anything else in health, there are different myths that still go around. One of them is about testosterone hormone and high inflammation of the prostate. That is not the reference point. It's just like an 18-year-old has the highest amount of testosterone at that age and a very small prostate. It's when you start doing bioidentical hormones or synthetic hormones or injecting yourself with a synthetic of a hormone, that is when the troubles arise, especially with male cancers. So do not get natural testosterone confused that your own body is making with anything synthetic, okay? Completely different story. The other things that can help you with naturally high testosterone and lower estrogen is vegetables like broccoli, kale, cauliflower, cabbages. They are phenomenal for both male and female health, to help not only stop cancers of an organ system, but also keep your hormones in balance. It basically creates like this beautiful homeostasis with your hormones and kind of negates any of the bad guys that are out there trying to do damage. So the vegetables like broccoli, cauliflower, cabbages, I did one entire show on this subject. They create a chemical compound called indole 3-carbinol. Most supplements are sold under the name of DIM, D-I-M. Very common in the female hormonal world, but men can take it too to help control that estrogen. So if you feel like you're getting like the the loose, they call it male boobs. If you're getting, you're feeling like your chest is getting heavier, flabbier, your belly is getting larger, you're just feeling like females, we call it like mushy, like we just feel mushy all over. That's definitely showing an estrogen dominance. So you want to really start eating these vegetables. And what do these vegetables also contain? Magnesium. No coincidence. So definitely they go hand in hand at helping keep that free-floating estrogen that's very damaging at bay, and increasing your natural healthy hormone that keeps you lean and strong and your libido high. And the other thing that men seem to overlook is their adrenal function. Adrenal glands are responsible for the energy of our body and also controlling the stress of the body. But if we're constantly angry and mad and tired and impatient and frustrated, the adrenal glands take the brunt of that. It's like seeing a car accident every moment of our life. We can never live in that heightened state of stress. And when we're living that hectic lifestyle where we're eating on the go, eating processed fast food all the time, not having meaningful relationships, not getting enough sleep, then our adrenal glands are basically taking the brunt of our choices. And when those get burnt out, there goes our testosterone levels. It all goes hand in hand. Our adrenal glands help make the precursor and hormone levels of our bodies. So if we stress them out, they're not going to work at the optimized level. So if you're doing energy drinks, caffeine, sugar, processed carbohydrates to keep your day going, you might not understand, but it's a direct impact on your bedroom life, your energy, your muscles. So yeah, there's a lot of guys that will go to the gym when they're younger with these, 32-ounce coffees because they just want to get hyped up. And yes, you might be able to get away with that when you're younger, but you cannot keep doing that. It's like basically taking those adrenal glands and putting them under the ringer 24/7. You have to nourish them, calm them. You can't constantly put them under stimulus. So really, really critical. All right, do we have enough time? Beautiful. Okay, so 2 other critical things to talk about. Too little fats, healthy fats, in the male's diet. It is critical that we get enough healthy fat in our diets to make hormones, have hormones travel to the right place, and store them correctly. It's like, taking like a really beautiful new outfit that you bought to go to a wedding and putting in a Publix bag that has holes in it and bringing it onto the plane. You would never think of doing that. If you had something beautiful and new, you would package it correctly to bring it somewhere, right? Well, it's the same thing with hormones. Our hormones are so important to our bodies, but sometimes we don't give it anything to protect them to travel to their destination. Well, that's what healthy fats do. They pick up hormones, they produce hormone, they store them, they travel with them. They're critical for our health. So healthy fats like wild fish, farm-raised fish does not have healthy fats anymore. Regular meat products, animal products that are not raised in the traditional way, if they're factory farmed and raised, they don't have the healthy fats. So olives, nuts, seeds, things that are grown properly, lots of healthy fats, critical for men's health and hormone health. The other supplement I strongly recommend is ginseng. We sell only 2 types of ginseng at my store. Why? Because so much ginseng comes from China and it doesn't really have any health benefits. The one I get is the only American ginseng farmer left in this country. He doesn't pick his roots for at least 8 years, sometimes 9. It's amazing. It's like a little family secret that's passed around. I think it's like 4th generation now. But true American ginseng helps with libido, stamina, hormone levels, energy, focus, nutrient levels of the body. You can buy it in granules, tea form, very inexpensive. So definitely ginseng. The other supplements, so I mentioned magnesium, ginseng. The other supplement that's really critical for men's health is CoQ10, ubiquinol. So ubiquinol goes into the mitochondria of the cell, helps you with energy, stamina, heart health. And if you're on any kind of medications, especially statins or blood pressure meds, they lower your levels of the CoQ10. So it's super critical. And men, please pay attention to your oral health, your gums, your teeth. I have one of my most famous shows is done on oil pulling. Consider that. So when your oral health is strong, your heart health is strong, and the less toxins in your body and the less burden your liver has, the more healthy your body will be. And again, I'm trying to stress that these are things you can add into each day. So it's not just about avoid. You keep your blood sugar nice and stable by eating lots of healthy fats, high quality organic foods, drinking water, doing your breathing exercise, getting sun, and unplug, everyone. To have healthy relationships, unplug from the technology, get away from the TV and the negative news. All right, well, I'm out of breath, so I guess it's time to go. Thank you so much for listening, everyone. I hope you have a great week. Next week, I'm on vacation, but we have Dr. Ravi here, and I'm sure he's going to have an awesome show for you. Have a great week, everyone. See you in 2.
You've been listening to Joanne's World of Nutrition, brought to you by Nutrition World in downtown Fort Pierce, across from City Hall, US 1 between Orange Avenue and Avenue A. Archives of this show are on YouTube. Look for WPSL TV. And find Joanne's World of Nutrition on YouTube. This is WPSL, Port St. Lucie, the talk of the Treasure Coast. Dr. Stuart Shelb's Holistic Health Hour, straight ahead.